With 66 films of varying subjects and different environments, you'd think that choosing a grand prize would be quite hard. So how do you make that final decision? Well, I'm lucky enough, I've judged this is my 5th festival now, so I've seen hundreds of adventure films, and I've got quite a good handle on the quality of things that you see and what makes a good film and what doesn't make a good film. And as with the other festivals, the shortlist rarely is between more than 2 or 3 films, and that kind of goes for each of the categories as well. The winning films, they shout their qualities really loudly, and more importantly, they stay with you. And I think that's when you really know when something is good, because it goes around in your head. And it doesn't matter sometimes whether it's filmed incredibly, technically it's amazing. Sometimes those things aren't important. It's obviously the story and how that's projected across to you as the viewer. Hopefully you have a combination of everything. Sound is really important. That came across in some films. If the sound quality had been better, if we could have heard what people were saying, we might have enjoyed them even more. There's some of the films that were shortlisted for the grand prize have won awards, so I'm not going to mention them. There's a film that I'd like to mention, not necessarily because it was up for the grand prize, but it's a skiing film, and made by Mike Douglas, Tempting Fear. And I personally really like this film because although it had beautiful visuals and stunning skiing, there was also a really intriguing story. And I think, we've all seen a lot of skiing films that, they might be beautiful, but really it's kind of the same stuff. Incredible, scary, but the story just isn't there. And I think this film was, a beautiful film to look at with a great story as well. But it didn't win the grand prize, I'm sorry, Mike. The film that has won is basically an old-fashioned adventure story of human endeavour over extreme adversity. The goal is basically a deadly journey, and it's thwarted many teams of, famous adventurers, basically. So along come 2 Aussie mates, and they've never skied before. They come from this hot environment, and they decide to basically give the South Pole and return a go. This is an achievement in itself, but to undertake making a film whilst you're doing this, completely unsupported in this harsh environment, is just mind-blowing. B, they've managed to capture all the gruelling details of a polar expedition on film, and what it entails, all the little nuances. It's really quite incredible because they've also made it entertaining and funny. I mean, I certainly wouldn't be laughing if I was trekking to the South Pole and back, but they are. I'm crying, which is great. I cried with them. So from start to finish, you're transfixed by their swollen, blistered faces, and you never quite know if their spirits are going to break. And with all good movies, there is a nice twist, and it keeps you guessing till the end. So for us, there were so many ingredients in this film that made it work. It wasn't technically the most brilliant film in the festival, but from the moment we watched it, we were hooked. We actually left it right to the end because the film they entered in the festival was a 40-something minute film, and we only had a 60-something minute version. And obviously when you're watching all these films, you don't want to have to watch something longer than is absolutely necessary. So we were like, oh, come on, we were waiting for the 40-something minute film to come to the room, and it never came. So in the end, we were kind of like, well, we're just going to have to watch this hour-plus film. And once we were there, we were just hooked, basically. It really wasn't difficult to watch this film. I mean, I don't know what the film version of this is, but it was a true page-turner. You just have to watch every second of it. So you probably already know, if you've seen it, you'll know which film I'm talking about. So now I will officially announce the grand prize of Kendal 2012. It goes to Justin Jones for Crossing the Ice.
Antarctica, a frozen dead land. We don't belong here, but for 100 years the brave and the foolish have been trying to conquer the ice. No one has ever walked from the edge of Antarctica to the South Pole and back under their own steam. This is the story of two friends who try. It's one of the last epic polar challenges, to the South Pole and back. But we're not the only ones trying.
I knew about them, but they obviously didn't know about me.
And then all of a sudden to find ourselves in a situation where this great adventure of ours had all of a sudden become a race.
You know, he was the polar guide and had so much more experience than us.
Our bodies are falling apart. This place, we're dying out here at the moment. I just can't keep dealing with the pain on the trail.
We're out here, we're alone, and it's bloody scary.